Before this episode starts, I would like to say that this is my Thanksgiving special episode. So in this episode, we're going to be doing the engine, and also fuel tank and fuel pump, and the exhaust. Now the exhaust I already took off, because I felt like it. So now let's get the fuel tank and the fuel pump in. And now we're going to start putting in the new exhaust. New exhaust. Little muffler. Here it is. Catalytic converter. Now this is where I have to stop because basically can't get to the very front exhaust section because of the turbocharger. This engine is turboed, but it's nothing crazy at all. If it didn't have a turbo, it would be like the slowest car. Let's put a new air filter in, including the air filter base. And we got a performance air filter now. We're going to put on the clips. And let's take off this clip and that clip. Okay. Now let's take off the turbo. Okay, there we go. Now we need to take off the manifold. So let's take off the starter right now. Let's see. Okay, yep, we're gonna need to drain the oil because we are taking the whole engine part. And that will be fun. Alright, so let's take the intake manifold off. And that fuel rail, fuel filter, ignition coils. Some of those ignition coils are absolutely terrible. Now I see why it's only making 135 horsepower. Now let's get this one. Let's take the cover off. Now let's get this belt tension off. By the way, I forgot to mention this is a Thanksgiving special episode. So we're going to be doing stuff to this car to make it special. Okay, I don't know what just happened there. It seemed like I just fell out of the game for some reason. No, that's fine with me. Just look at the suspension real quick. Yeah, I upgraded all of it. So, timing belt, cam gears, camshaft, engine head. Got the engine head off. Ooh, that's a lot of carbon buildup. And I think we should start taking out the gearbox also. And let's go over to the suspension because we're going to need to take off some of the suspension to get to the gearbox because we need to take this, we need to take these drive axles off and also the front drive shaft off to actually get to the engine. Well, to get to the gearbox, I meant to say. Okay, got this one off. Got the drive shaft off. And we need to get under the car for this one. Okay, let's lift it up. So, also right now take this front exhaust section off. Get that gearbox off. We're going to leave it off because we are replacing the whole engine. clutch plate, flywheel, and that's all that I can take off until I drain the oil. So let's drain the oil and use it. So this is the oil drainer. And okay, cursed out of oil. That's good. And I can take the oil pan off without tons of oil falling. Okay, got it. Now we'll take this rod cap off. And let's just take that crankshaft bearing cap off. And another one of them. And another rod cap. They're just depressing. And this one. Right now at the engine sitting under here, the game looks smooth as butter. But then as soon as I go to the outside cam, it's not as smooth. Because the game has to do more stuff and then just the crap hole stuff. So yeah. Piston, and piston. Now, we need to take off the crankshaft. Once again, lift it up. And now let's put it back down. And I have already bought parts for this car, so that is good. Now, just to show, here's the engine horsepower. And I will show a before and after right now, and, well, probably not right now, but at the end of the video, I'll show before and after. So put the new engine block in, new alternator, power steering pump, fuel filter. Also, I need to charge the battery with this little gadget over here. So now it charges the battery. That battery was probably around 60% charge. And battery. And now we need to lift it up. Now let's put this front exhaust section on. Put the oil filter on. Crankshaft. And the crankshaft bearing caps I'm going to put on right now. There's only 3 of them, which is good. Okay, now let's go to the engine bay, which is right here. And piston. Another piston. And piston number 4. Now we can put the engine head in. Okay, now let's put this manifold on. Now the cover. Cam gear, engine head cover, fuel rail, DI, spark plug, and the last spark plug. The ignition coils. Obviously there is 4 of them because 4 pistons. Same for the spark plugs. Spark plugs also have 4 spark plugs because of that. Okay, now let's put it on throttle. Wait a second. I just need to make sure that that is the right one. Yes, it is. And timing belt. Ignition. I almost said ignition cover. Meant to say timing cover. Jeez. Idler, roller. Water pump. Didn't get anything for that because I was way too lazy. And serpentine belt B. And belt tensioner. Serpentine belt A. So I think I've done everything there. Now let's put on the turbo, the new one. This gives us 10% more power. And now I need to put on the gearbox and that sort of stuff. So let's lift the car up. And also we're going to put the rod caps in. It's so weird, like going from the game being 60 FPS to 80 FPS. Right now it's at 75, but sometimes it goes to 80, and it is such a big difference. It may not seem like it, but on a G-Sync monitor that has 100 Hz refresh rate, even just 15 more frames per second is a big difference. Of course, I would have preferred a 144 Hz monitor, but you know, this one is already expensive enough. $1,000. So this monitor where it burns holes in wallets. Like Insta. Like, you look at the monitor and it's like, oh, everything looks so good on it, and it Insta burns a hole in your wallet because you buy it. Come on. No, take me over here. Okay. Okay. Let's get this one, this one, this one. I accidentally didn't put that one in all the way. So now we just need to put in the starter. And hopefully that's it. And let's put in the starter. And this is a Thanksgiving special, so there'll be something involved with turkeys in this video. I don't know what, but there will be. I don't know how I'll do something with turkeys, but I will. I don't know how I can make turkeys work, but yeah. So, now we need to move this to the dyno. But before we move it to the dyno, let's put oil in the engine. Usually I always forget that step. But this time I remembered. I didn't. I actually didn't though. Just, with the magic of editing, it looked like I didn't check to see if I could go to the dyno and then it say that I didn't have oil in the engine. But with the work of editing, you never saw anything. Let's close the engine. Okay, dyno. Wonder how much louder it's gonna be. That's loud compared to what it was. So factory it was 180, and it was at 135, and now it is at 288. That is over double of what the horsepower was. The horsepower was around 133, and now it's at 288, so that's good. I think in a future episode I'm going to do, make this car all-wheel drive, and maybe a slightly more powerful inline 6, or maybe even a V6. Okay, I painted it a matte color. It's not the most matte black, but it'll do. So, I'm going to see just how fast this car is. Now let's listen to how loud it is. Let's see. I forget how to make the engine go loud. I forget how to like clutch in. Well, that is a sign that since the engine can be in park and still pull the front wheels, that means that I'm probably going to need slicker tires in the front. Now let's just see what we can do with this. Yeah, so this car is pretty fast. We'll see what we can do at like 0 to 60 time and that sort of thing. Whoa. Definitely gonna need to maybe change the engine, give it a new engine. Whoa. Yeah, this. Oh, crap. Didn't see the breakdown. And here I'm gonna do a 0 to 60 test and a input lag test on the turbo. So let's see if there's turbo lag. So yeah, there definitely is. Watch it when it gets to around 2,000 RPM. 2,500 RPM, and the RPMs go up a lot faster. You can really see like right when it kicks in. Now I was able to get it to rev up. Okay, so let's do 0 to 60. Okay, I kind of messed up the side, so I'm going to redo that. Okay. Don't know what that is, but yeah, I want to put that in on screen. I think I can do something to this car in editing, make it look like a turkey. Or to have a turkey in front of the screen half the time while looking at the car, so. This car will need better tires, but that will be for another episode. If you like this episode, and goodbye. Here is before, and now it is at 288.